All right, well, now we're going to try looking at the area of a compound figure that includes both a rectangle and a triangle. So, we learned last week and earlier this week about the rectangle. It's the area is the length times the width. For the triangle, we learned that the area is 1/2 the length times the width, or 1/2 the base times the height. So now we're going to combine those two things. We're going to look at a shape that you can divide into a rectangle and a triangle. So you might have something that looks like this. Okay. And you might have the dimensions of 12 inches here and 12 inches here. All right. And then we know then here that this height, or excuse, this part right here, okay, is 6 inches. Okay, so you might be given this information, all right? I know right away because this is 12 inches, this is 12 inches, okay? So this is what I'm starting with, but now I can gather other information from it. First of all, I can divide this into a rectangle and a triangle, or a square and a triangle in this case, actually. Because here I've got this figure here, and then I've got this figure here, okay? So one of those is a square, one of those is a triangle. And I know right away when looking at my square that this is also 12 inches, okay? This length here, because it's opposite this side in parallel, that's 12 inches. So this is a square with sides of 12 inches. This rectangle, okay, I am going to be looking for information about the base and the height. So I'm going to need to find the base and the height. So let's do the area of the square first. I know that the area of a square is just its side squared, or the length times the width, okay, which is going to be 12 times 12. And 12 times 12 is going to give me 144 square inches. But now I need to find the length of the information that I need to find the area for the triangle. Now, I know this. Here's this triangle right here, okay? I'm just going to kind of show you around the edge of it so you can see it. There's my triangle. This is the base of the triangle. This part right here is the height. It's the line that is perpendicular to the base, okay? Well, I know the base of this is already 12 inches. I've been told that, okay, from this information. So I know that with my triangle, area is base times height. I know that this base is 12. So I can plug that in. But I got to find the height. Well, it's giving me the height because it's saying that this part right here is 6 inches. Well, that is parallel to this, which is the height of the rectangle. So my height is going to be 6 inches. So I want to find the area, I should have said 1/2 base times height. So my area is 1/2 the base times the height. My base is 12, my height is 6. And I know that it's 1/2 of that. So I can either multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2. And to me, it's easier just to divide by 2. So 12 times 6 is going to give you 72. You're going to divide that by 2. That's going to give you 36 inches squared. So basically what I found now is that this area, this square, is 144 inches squared. This triangle, the area that fills up that triangle, is 36 inches squared. And I need to add them together to get my total area for this composite figure. So it's 144 plus 36. I don't have a calculator, so 10, that's 8. So this is going to be The area of that composite figure is 180 square inches. Okay? I know that's a little weird, a little different, but it's just taking information you learned last week and putting it together to have two areas added together. So let's look at another one. It's not easy to erase sideways either. I got to figure out a better setup. Okay, so let's do one like this. It's going to look kind of like a little house, kind of lopsided house actually. Now let's do the non-lopsided house first. I'm going to do one like this. So it's basically just like we did, only this looks more like a house. Not a very good one at that, but okay. And let's say that this is 9 inches. And it's going to tell me that this right here, okay, this part right here is 5 inches. Okay, so that's all the information I'm given, and now I've got to figure out the other stuff. You can also look at it on this side, see? That means that this is also 5 inches. All right? But what I'm trying to find is the actual area of this house-like figure. All right, so I'm going to divide it into a rectangle and a triangle, and I'll use my green this time. Let's do this. This divides it into a rectangle and a triangle. So now I've got this, and then I'll do this one in blue. Got this. Now I've got a square, or an actual, probably a rectangle, and a triangle. All right. So let's take a look at, might have some other information I need. Oops, I forgot one piece of information. This piece of information right here. Got to have this information. All right, so that's the information that's given to me. Now I need to find the area of both of these. So now I've got the information I need for my rectangle down here at the bottom. Looks like a square, sorry, but it's actually a rectangle because one side is 14 inches and the other side is 9, and that means it's a rectangle and not a square. But to find the area of this, I want the length times the width because that's my rectangle. So area is length times width. And in this case, the length is 14, the width is 9. So 14 times 9 is going to be 126 square inches. Okay. Now I got to find my triangle. Well, my triangle area is 1/2 the base times the height. So 1/2 base times height. And my base right here is going to have to be equal to the same thing as this one, right? It's parallel, same length. So my base is 14 inches. My height, I already know. See this part right here? That's telling me that this height is 5 inches. So the base and height of my triangle is 14 and 5. So to find my base times my height, and then half of that, I'm just going to go ahead and multiply my base times my height, which is 14 times 5. And then my answer of that, I'm going to divide by 2. So 14 times 5 is going to give me 70. Let me make sure that's correct. 20, yes. Divide that by 2. 70 divided by 2 gives me 35 square inches. So now I've got my rectangle is 126 square inches. My triangle is 35 square inches, and I need to add those together to get my total house-shaped composite area. So 126, I'm just going to do this up here so we can see it better. 126 for this rectangle plus 35 for my triangle is going to give me 161 square inches when I add those together. Okay, so the composite area for that particular figure is 161. All right, let's try one more. All right, this one might be a little easier. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Here we go, so I'm gonna draw this kind of figure. It's gonna be like this, and we're gonna go up like this, and we're gonna go like that. Okay. It's a trapezoid, okay? A trapezoid can be divided into a couple of different figures here. All right, we're gonna have 8 inches here, 8 inches here, and 4 inches here. All right, I can divide this into a triangle and a rectangle, and I'm going to do that by taking this, extending it this way. So now we see we have a rectangle here, and we've got a triangle here. All right, so when I look at those, I can start finding the area of each of those and add them together to get the composite area. Had to take a drink of coffee there, sorry. All right, so let's do the rectangle. Rectangles are always easier, so let's do that first. So the area of a rectangle, length times width. The length is 8. The width is 4, so 32 square inches. But now I need to find the length of the area of the triangle. And I can find out my information here by looking at this first part here. The base of the triangle is 8 inches because it's the same as this, right? But I don't know what this little part is here. That's my height. Well, I do know this, that this, if I brought this up over here and made kind of like a rectangle, this 8 inches has to equal this. So to find this part, I just take what do I add to 4 plus what is going to give me 8. And you can subtract. 8 minus 4 is going to give you 4 inches. That means that this part here is equal to this part, which is 4 inches. Okay? Because it makes a rectangle and opposite sides are equal. So now I know that my triangle has a base of, so we're going to do 1/2 base times height. My base is times 8, and my height is 4. And like I said, I'd rather just divide by 2 than multiply by 1/2, so I'm just going to do 8 equals 8 times, this can be 8. I'm going to change this so you don't get confused. It's just 1/2 the base times the height, which is the same thing as dividing by 2. So 8 times 4 is 32, divided by 2, which is 16 square inches. Then to find the composite area of that plus that together, you just have to add the 32 and the 16 together. And that is going to give me the area equals 32 plus 16, which is going to give me 48 square inches. All right, so we're going to do the same thing we did with rectilinear area, and that is that you're going to do 5 problems one day and 5 problems the next day. Okay, so you're going to have a total of 20 problems this week by the end of the week. And then we'll decide how to move forward. But I know these are going to be a little difficult because you're not in the classroom, and it's taking information before and kind of adding to it and putting more than one concept together. So if you have any questions on it, give me a private comment or an email, and we'll do the best we can to get through it. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.